And roar! Welcome to the New Caveman Show. So, after 3 years, it is finally my turn to upgrade to the 2021 iPad Pro. The 2020 iPad Pro came only with a spec bump and a LiDAR module, which was of no use to me. In today's video, I'm going to highlight the differences of this year's model to you, as well as giving you my truthful review after a month of usage and recommend whether you should upgrade as well. In terms of ergonomics, the new iPad Pro 2021 is actually slightly thicker and heavier to house the new Liquid Retina XDR display. It is not obvious to the sight, but when you hold it, you can clearly feel it. My 2018 felt more comfortable in the hand, but that model was also plagued by the bandgate sagas when it was just released. To me, it is a small step backward, as I really prefer my devices to get thinner, not the other way around. Now, let's talk about the performance. The iPad Pro has finally joined the M1 family, taking departure from the A series chipsets. Today, we have the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, 24-inch iMac, and the iPad Pro all using the same M1 chipset. For the clueless, the M1 chipset is Apple's own processor chipset, taking departure from the traditional Intel chipsets. Reviews have been great so far, with results being on par with the Intel i9 series. The announcement of the M1 chipset gave us a glimpse of hope that our iPads can finally run desktop apps. However, WWDC has shown that we were all deceiving ourselves and there are no announced plans of bringing desktop apps to the iPad Pro. Anyway, enough of my ranting. Here is what you can expect with the new M1 chipset. Nothing. The M1 iPad Pro runs pretty much the same as my 2018 iPad Pro. On paper, it is supposed to be almost twice as fast as my 2018 based on Geekbench results. But I guess the 2018 model has never been challenged in performance. You do maybe get 20 seconds faster at spot time, but the old spot time was pretty snappy already. Gaming wise, I see I'm not allowed to max out my settings on Call of Duty Mobile. I can max out graphics or frame rates, but not both, just like the 2018. So, is the M1 chipset worth the upgrade? Probably not. You won't feel the difference. You are still limited by iPad OS. All our wishful thinking about having Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro running on the M1 iPad Pros were all dashed in WWDC. How about the battery life? The M1 iPad Pro is supposed to deliver the same 10 hours of usage. For my own use, I do notice the 2021 iPad Pro running warmer than the 2018 iPad Pro. I'm not sure if this is due to the mini LED screen or the M1 chipset. Either way, I do feel it is a tiny step backwards in terms of battery life. I used to only charge my 2018 iPad Pro every few days on casual surfing. On the new 2021 iPad Pro, I find my battery life draining a bit even without much use. However, the all-day battery life claim is still pretty much true. Just not the huge jump we saw on the M1 MacBook Air and M1 MacBook Pro, where they can now enjoy 18 to 20 hours of battery life. How about Center Stage? This is a new feature on FaceTime, where the new ultra-wide front-facing camera pans and zoom according to the user's movement. I do not really use it since I live in a confined space and I am not proud of my home surroundings. This is precisely most Zoom users blur their backgrounds or use wallpapers as backgrounds. I must confess it is a real neat feature, and it is not limited to FaceTime. Third-party apps are allowed to use center stage as well. Imagine what you can do for live streaming if TikTok or Instagram fully embrace this feature. My personal wish would be the center stage to roll out to the camera app, utilizing the more powerful rear cameras, where the LiDAR is used in conjunction with multiple cameras to zoom and pan. That would be the ultimate vlogging device ever. We are finally going to talk about the star feature of the iPad Pro 2021, which is the new mini LED display known as the Liquid Retina SDR display. What a mouthful! To put it simply, in my own words, imagine 10,000 mini LEDs underneath your LCD display. This allows the screen to achieve up to a peak brightness of 1600 nits when viewing HDR content. The huge number of LEDs also allow local dimming at pixel level, giving you the blackest blacks ever, achieving a contrast ratio of 1,000,000 to 1. If you are not getting all this technical jargon, just understand that a similar Apple Pro display SDR costs about $5,000. And most other mini LED monitors are also in the 4,000 to 5,000 range as well. All this talk is just to quantify the new mini LED Liquid Retina SDR display. But how does it really fare and matter to you? Firstly, the display is really bright and the colors seem more vibrant. The blacks are really deep, now giving you the contrast ratio and brightness of a true HDR display. This way, you can finally enjoy HDR content the way they were meant to be enjoyed. And if you are a video editor, you can always use this display to monitor your HDR footage. The iPhone 12s are already recording in Dolby Vision HDR. This would be your best portable device to create HDR content. Do note that the new Liquid Retina SDR display is only limited to the 12.9-inch models and are excluded from the 11-inch models. Inside the Apple Store, the 12.9-inch display clearly pops and grabs your attention as compared to the 11-inch model. Let us watch some HDR content and compare between my 2018 and 2021 iPad Pro displays.
Silent alarm, there it goes. That's funny, it didn't dial out to 911, it's trying to reach a provider. Trying to see the problem? No, I'm done with the problem. No, I'm done.
Just 50 years ago, we finally ventured to the moon. first time we look back at our own planet. Since then, the human population has more than doubled. This series will celebrate the natural wonders that remain and reveal what we must preserve to ensure people and nature thrive.
As you can see, the contrast on the liquid retina SDR display is clearly superior with the darker blacks. Don't forget, the new display can go up to 1600 nits of peak brightness, while the previous display is maxed out at only 600 nits. However, the truth is that the liquid retina XDR display does not win hands down in all areas. Firstly, I do notice some shadows at the edges while surfing. This is especially true when the background is white and when you are reading in the dark. You cannot really unsee this shadow, but I guess you can start getting used to it. Also, many people are reporting blooming. Blooming is a kind of halo effect that can usually be seen when the background is black and the subject is white. I usually type in dark mode, and I do not experience blooming on my text at all. I did notice the blooming when the white subjects are much larger on a contrasting black background, and that was only on a couple of occasions, that's all. Now let us revisit the same topic again, year after year. Is the iPad Pro finally a laptop replacement? The answer is hell no. Despite being equipped with the most powerful M1 chipset, despite having up to 16 gigs of RAM and 2 TB of storage, the iPad Pro is still heavily handicapped by its OS, the iPad OS. As of now, the iPad OS limits per app usage to 5 gigs of RAM, so you cannot squeeze anything out of your new hardware compared to previous models. The recent WWDC has also confirmed that Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, and Xcode will not be coming over to the iPad. There are a couple of saving grace though. For example, LumaFusion will finally be able to support editing video off an external hard disk drive. Previously, you had to import footage into the iPad to edit, and you'll be limited by the device storage space. It used to make more economic sense to edit video off an external SSD drive with the Macbook. Also, Swift Playground, an educational app for Swift programming, will also be able to compile code and create apps going forward. These are truly tiny steps forward in the correct direction. So, the conclusion is that it is still not a laptop replacement, but it makes a great laptop supplement. It is more economical to get a true laptop like the M1 MacBook Air, where you can still natively run both desktop apps and iOS apps, enjoying up to 18 hours of battery life. A similar spec 12.9-inch iPad Pro coupled with the Magic Keyboard costs much more than the M1 MacBook Air. Don't forget, the iPad Pro and Magic Keyboard combo is also thicker and heavier than the MacBook Air. If you are coming from older iterations of the iPad Pro, it's not an obvious upgrade in all areas. Ergonomically, you are getting a heavier and thicker device. The new Liquid Retina XDR display is clearly beautiful, but it comes with drawbacks. The hardware is better, but it is still pending Apple to unlock the performance. So, what gives? The iPad Pro is clearly a luxury device. You get all the bells and whistles before they trickle down to the cheaper models like the iPad Air. On paper, it is truly a bad deal to upgrade. However, in reality, it is still my favorite device, one that I spend the most time with, even more than the value for money MacBook Air. If having the latest gadget can spark more joy and makes you more productive, isn't it a worthy upgrade? Isn't this the reason why people buy fitness trackers? You do not really need a fitness tracker to exercise. What you are truly purchasing is motivation. So, thank you for watching the video so far. I'll be conducting a giveaway contest to give away the Elecom Paperfeel Screen Protector. This screen protector is my favorite one on the iPad Pro so far. Just click on the link to watch the review of it. Otherwise, you can click on the link below for the contest details. Thank you for watching so far. Again, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.